Hello and welcome back to Redirecting. There was an incident that happened years ago. Many of you may remember the horrific tragedy of James Byrd and how he was down in Jasper, Texas, and he was killed in one of the most unimaginable ways possible. He was walking alongside a road and he asked for a ride from some white men. And they accommodated him by literally dragging him on the back of their pickup truck until he died. His head and body parts popped off, and he died in such a horrific way that a lot of people are still devastated to this day. I remember many, many years ago, there were members of the family that... I'm not going to get into that because I know this is really fresh for them, but I will share something that from a comment that I retrieved from one of the articles that was talking about this story. I do want to say this, that our family, our people, they have a very forgiving mindset, and the world knows this. Okay, the world knows this, and unfortunately, many of us believe that it's a compliment to be seen or viewed in that way. So let me just get to the part of the story that I wanted to talk about. I have some comments that I'm going to read from one of the articles that was talking about this story. The first one, it said, "You remember the story of the Good Samaritan. I've been stuck on the side of the road. When help came, it was two white guys. And on the flip side, helped others that were stuck. Both ways you feel blessed and thankful. This story, so much inhumanity, so much darkness. Don't care for the death penalty, but the way this guy died, he got off light. Much better to allow people to live, repent, ask for forgiveness, and warn others of the demons that lurk between our thoughts. Rest in peace, James Byrd Jr." Okay, so that was the comment that I saw, but I just wanted to read some of the comments that came after that as a response to that comment. Now, the next comment, the person said, Triad, that's the screen name they're referring to. They said, I'm assuming you are a black man or woman. What you described is the way it should be, must be, helping one another, having compassion when someone is in need. They did it for you, you did it for others. That's the honorable way to live. What gets lost in the face of a heinous crime such as this is that most people are good and decent. Goodness is not weakness. Thanks for your post. Let's continue on in our fight against white supremacy. They are very far from supreme, but a cancer on our society. I feel ashamed that they exist. Now, the next comment comes from a person who says, in the mid-'80s, I was a white man in my 20s dropping off a friend in Harlem, New York. After dropping him off, I got stuck in the snow. A group of black men came towards me. I was scared, but all they did was push me out of the snow. Then the next person responds and says, very cool. You were young and maybe had no experience with people of other races and cultures, but you learned and you remembered. That's what's important. Let's just keep paying it forward. I sort of get the hint that you will help or have helped someone. Black, white makes no difference when the need arises. The ink is black and the page is white. Okay. The first comment I wanted to point out that kind of sparked all of these other responses was the fact that this person, they think of the story of the Good Samaritan. They referenced how they were helped when they were stuck on the side of the road, and that they think they don't really care for the death penalty, but that they think it's much better to let people live, let them repent, ask for forgiveness, and warn others of the demons that lurk between their thoughts. That's what they thought should happen to this person, that they should live and repent and ask for forgiveness so that they can warn others of the demons that lurk between their thoughts. And then the next response after that was a person that says, I am assuming you are a black man or woman. Okay. Now, that's where I kind of wanted to hang out for a minute, because this person assumed that this is a black man or woman based on some very, very interesting facts about our people. We are very forgiving in the face of the most heinous crimes. And we wear those attributes almost as if they are something to be proud of. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with being forgiving. Nothing at all. But it depends on what it is. If you look at a lot of stories of our history in the Bible, the children of Israel dealt with enemies a certain way. They weren't groveling and kowtowing and falling on bended knee to pray for people who just killed their loved ones. That's not what our ancestors were doing. But our people today feel that that is the right thing to do. For this person to believe that the best way to deal with this killer is to have the hope that they would repent and ask for forgiveness and warn others of the demons that they have. You have to understand, this particular demon that's in this person wanted to do something so heinous. They killed this man like it was a game. But for our people to believe that, oh, one day they're going to come to their senses. All this time in prison, did he come to his senses? That hate is in him. And this is not a hate like, oh, I just don't like this person or we don't get along. This is the kind of hate that said, I'm going to take this perfect stranger who did nothing wrong to me. I'm going to tie his body. Think of the mindset of a person who would tie someone's body to the back of a vehicle and drag them until they are dead. Oh. Why is it that we think that type of person can be helped? I'm sorry, you can come up with all these buttery stories all you want. Now, I've heard of white supremacists who have come to themselves and who have believed that how they believed and what they thought was wrong, and they just kind of graduated from that point to the point of, I'm not going to concentrate on racism and all of these ill wills or ill feelings towards black people. I've heard of that before. Okay, but when you have a person who actually took the time to kill someone in this way, to shock the nation, dragging this man's body, head decapitated, arms, body parts came off, and they thought it was fun. And then they took their behinds home that night and went to sleep. What I find amazing is there was, I believe it was Whited Out Part 2, the one that they removed from our channel and banned worldwide. I believe in that one, there was a white radio personality. He was talking about how black people could go and kill someone and then go home and eat some chicken. I said to myself, you are describing what your people have done for so long, where they would just brutally kill someone, hang them from the tree, the whole family, the children and all, standing there watching black bodies hanging from trees, have a picnic, and they go home, eat some chicken, and go to sleep. He said that almost as if he believes that's the normal mindset of a black person, and he knows, this newsman knows good and damn well that is how many of them have thought for hundreds of years. He knows that was their thinking, and to this day continues to be, based on what happened to James Byrd. Now, I'm not saying that we, as a people, so-called black people, I know that black people have some cold-blooded killers as well. But don't try to make it seem like that is the rule to black people. When our people cross over into that darkness, they have gone to a very dark place. But when the young man, one of the other comments where he said these black men that were coming towards him in Harlem, he thought he was afraid for his life, but all they did was helped to move his vehicle out of the snow. That is mostly typical of what you're going to experience from most black people. That's just how we are. Now, some of them have, like I said, have crossed over into a dark place because of how this world has been towards us. We have gotten to a point, a lot of our people, many of our people, our young people especially, have gotten to a point where they have given up and they said, I don't care. Society don't care about me, so I don't care. And so they are just cold towards anyone. But don't try to make it seem like that is the rule that black people are governed by. That is not the truth. That is not the truth. We have endured much in this country, and we have people telling us to get over it while this stuff is still happening to us. While other races continue to explain it away and pretend like it's not as bad and that we shouldn't talk about it and that the problem lies with us concentrating on it. Explain to me, how are you not to concentrate on it when all you see in the news is how this person has killed a so-called black person and got away with it and continues to get away with it? Now, I understand Bible prophecy. I understand that much of this stuff was spoken of and that is a result of the curses upon us. But that does not excuse the guilty who continue to perpetuate these crimes and think that the God of heaven, as they call him, is going to excuse them and that they're going to walk away scot-free. You will reap what you have sown. You will not meet your God in peace. You won't meet him in peace with the wickedness that permeates throughout your heart. You just won't. Now, I understand that no one who continues in sin will meet him in peace. No one. Okay? But here's the thing. The difference is you have those who perpetuate many of these crimes who thinks the color of their skin is going to get them off scot-free, and that regardless of what they've done on this earth, what they have done to others, how they have lived, the evilness and wickedness that permeates throughout their mind, heart, and body, they believe that regardless to any of that, that they are going to just one day die and traipse around in heaven. That is the thing that gets me about people with that mindset, that they are so incredibly wicked that they honestly believe that a righteous Elohim, or God as they call him, is going to reward the evil that lurks within them. Now, back to the so-called black person who believes that the best thing is to allow this man to repent and ask for forgiveness and to warn others. Do you really think he's going to pull up a podium? This is the sickness that our people have. You think he's going to pull up a podium and warn others of the darkness and the demons that lurks between his thoughts? Are you kidding me? This is why the person who responded to them, they said this, I'm assuming that you're a black man or woman. Why would they assume such a thing? Because they have come to know us to be these simple-minded, weak-minded, ignorant people who think that way. That's what they've come to believe and think about us. But we, in our saved minds, think that somehow that is a compliment. I'm sorry, people, but that is not a compliment. That is an insult. That this person pegged this commenter as a black person because of those ignorant thoughts that they shared on social media. Very sad indeed. Yes, rest in peace, James Byrd. So glad that they finally, after more than 20 years, finally got rid of this scum, or at least one of them that perpetuated this crime, after all this time. He has met his maker, and trust me, it is not in peace. I don't care how much James Byrd's family prayed for this man. Because if I remember correctly, some of his family members were praying that this man would get saved, and that he would give his heart to Jesus. And I remember back then, and I said I wasn't going to comment on this too much because I'm going off of an old memory. But it is sad when your loved one is killed in such a way and all you can think about is the soul of the devil who did it to them, hoping that they get saved so that they can have an opportunity to go to heaven. We're not talking about a person who killed somebody by mistake, struck them with a car, or just did something and it resulted in someone's death. It was a mistake. We're talking about some people so messed up in their minds, so depraved in their minds, so wicked to where they thought that this is what this man deserves, just so that they can have a moment of fun. Okay, family, I'm out of here. I'm done with this. I just wanted to share my thoughts on this and how we as a people are very sick in our thinking and don't even realize it. Don't even realize just how sick we are when we think this way, to the point where the world can pick us out in the comment section. Oh, that person must be a black man or woman to be thinking about love and forgiveness of a person who did such a horrible crime. Okay, family, with that, I'll say shalom. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.